Hey everybody, I'm Sophia Perola with the Garden State Film Festival, and today I am interviewing the people behind the making of the short film Blood is Thicker. It was accepted for obvious reasons at the Garden State Film Festival this year. I got to see it. I really enjoyed it. I'm so excited to talk to you guys today. How's everybody doing?
I'm good. Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Oh, thank you all for coming. So I would love for you each to introduce yourselves one by one and your title in the film. And let's start off with Jordan.
Hi, I'm Jordan Goldstein. I directed the film and edited it and co-wrote it with my friend Will.
Awesome. Thank you, Jordan.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Kendall. I was a producer on the film.
Hi, I'm Noella. I was also a producer on the film.
Awesome. It's so nice meeting you all. So can one of you, Jordan or whoever, would like to give us a little synopsis, tell everyone out there, what is your film about?
Yeah, so the movie's about a wealthy single mom who has to kind of decide whether or not to help her son after he commits a heinous act. And yeah.
Very, very nice little, put it in a little box. I like
Yeah,
that
right.
synopsis. Yeah, I got to see it. As I said, I really enjoyed it. I was like on the edge of my seat waiting for what was going to happen. It looked beautiful. It's got everything all around. I just really enjoyed the film and enjoyed looking at it and watching it and everything. I'd just love to know, how did the idea begin? What made you want to write and make this film specifically, Jordan?
Well, so it's actually kind of based off like somewhat of a true story. Like I live in I've grown up in a very like nice neighborhood, a very privileged neighborhood, and I've been very lucky. And there was kind of an incident in either a town over in the same town where someone had kind of done something a little more heinous, and then for weeks no one knew anything about it. And then there was later reported that his mother had kind of helped him cover it up. And initially the reaction from a lot of people is, oh, that's like this very sensational, scary, like, oh, how could that happen here type thing. But I think like the more I thought about it, the more I just felt bad for the person's mom, and just the fact that how parents can be underappreciated, and how the fact that in communities like this it feels as though nothing bad can happen, but and you feel as though you're separated from people who do horrible things. But when it's kind of in your home, how that feels, or how scary that can be, and how you never know, and stuff like that. So I just wanted to explore that. I thought that was interesting.
Wow. I mean, talk about some of the best stories come from the truth. That's, I don't want to say amazing, but I mean, that's amazing how it came about, and that you wanted to specifically talk about how you kind of felt bad and seeing the mother's perspective. I thought you did that wonderfully during the film. I definitely was invested in and felt for her as well. I would love to ask Kendall and Noella, what was it like producing this film? What goes into being a producer, especially for a film like this? Obviously, it was filmed in a very nice home and with great actors. I just would love, what was the process of making this film and producing it? What was that process like? Whoever wants to jump in and start off.
Kendall, do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So I was mainly the producer who was on set, and basically was kind of keeping wraps on the day-to-day operations. We filmed this roughly in 4 days. So we had a tight time schedule, and so I was in charge of keeping everybody on track and making sure that we got everything we needed, but also thinking about the shots and the other production stuff ahead of time. So if somebody was, if they were shooting a scene and something else needed done and everybody else was busy, I'd go and start setting up the next scene or doing something just so that we could film fluently. There wasn't any like big breaks or anything like that. So that was my main producer role.
You make it sound so easy. I know it's not. You did a great job with that. And Noella, what was it like for you to produce this film?
It was a little bit different from Kendall because I was in LA, so I was kind of producing. I was kind of producing it remotely in a sense. But I did start it out with Jordan. I think maybe like a year before we actually filmed it.
Yeah.
And I went back and forth with Jordan and gave him lots of notes on his scripts. every single time that he wanted to add something different. We kind of talked about it, and I think the ending was the biggest point that he and I kind of went back and forth about. We couldn't really nail it, so I think I focused more on the pre-production, and then I came back into it more, just giving him notes on post-production as well.
Wow, that's so cool. I commend you guys for not only having some awesome females in the crew, love to see that, but also for working with each other so far. That sounds kind of difficult. And you mentioned you were going back about a year before the filming. I mean, how long did this process take? What was involved in the prep and the filming and then post? How long and all? When were you guys shooting this?
Oh, sorry, I interrupted. Go ahead, Noah.
Okay,
Sorry.
So Jordan and Kendall and I were all in the same class developing the short film. And then I really, really liked his script. So I had reached out to him and I said, hey, do you want me to help you produce this through the studio? Because I work at the studio that Park owns. So we kind of started working out through the studio and my boss and going back and forth with that. But then we couldn't end up using the studio because it was a senior thesis. So Jordan will talk more about that because I wasn't there when they had that discussion, but I think we ended up getting the equipment through them. So it kind of took a long process because Jordan knew when exactly he wanted to shoot the film, to wait until it was the perfect time, but we just worked until he thought it was ready.
Yeah, and then to add to that, just the process of kind of, we were pitching it and then we kind of decided, we'll just do it on our own. But luckily at our school, what they do so well for all students is they give us equipment for free. So we had access to all this great equipment for free. And so like all our cameras, our lights, our sound stuff, that was all, luckily we didn't have to spend any money on that. And then, and then I wrote it a long time ago. It was like a completely different story. It was like about a brother and sister. And then my friend Will really kind of helped me kind of shape it and figure out what it was, and that it was more interesting for a mother-son dynamic. And we kind of mined a lot of stuff of just like the worst parts of ourselves, and not in the sense of like us ever committing a hit and run or anything, but in the fact of like, just like, getting caught in your own like self, like loathing aspect and not appreciating kind of the luxuries you have or the family you have, and how grateful you kind of, at least us specifically, should be. And so we wanted to write that and really focus it on the mom, because the first drafts were focused on the kid. And then it kind of went along. The prep was just, getting everything organized. Crawford, who was the main actor, she was SAG, so we had to do the SAG paperwork and things like that. And then we ended up shooting it right before our semester started over a winter break. And then I edited it for a couple months. And then my one of my close friends, Josh, who's the sound designer, Corona hit, I believe in March. And so I was editing it, and then he just mixed it from March to May. So he did all the sound mixing and stuff. He's a wonderful, very smart person. So that was all.
Sounds like you guys have an amazing crew. I mean, it really sounded great. I loved that song at the end, by the way. I was trying to look at what song that was. It looked great. The actors were phenomenal. It sounds like everything took a lot of hard work and craftsmanship, and that's awesome that you guys got this done in the way that you did. And I would love to ask you, why did you want to submit to Garden State Film Festival?
Well, I'm from New Jersey, and I just had always kind of admired the festival from afar. Like I've made films the last couple of years, but like really just once I got to college, that's when it really started. So even knowing about the festival from high school, I was just always a fan of it. So I had seen some of your guys' like previous catalogs of films you guys had, and I just always hoped I could have something to submit. And so this was kind of the first thing that I was like, I think hopefully they would like it. So yeah.
And they did. I mean, I'm so happy you got to submit to this. And yes, you're from New Jersey. We love to see New Jersey filmmakers. It's close to home. So all of you met in college?
Yes.
It's cool. And are we still going to college right now? And I'm sorry if you mentioned it. What college was that you were all in?
So we all went to Ithaca College, but no, we just graduated. Our last semester was the semester where the coronavirus started and stuff. So it was a very weird last semester. Like, unfortunately, a lot of people in our class weren't able to make films because they just weren't able to film before the pandemic. But we luckily did it very early, so we got it done. So.
Wow. You guys definitely lucked out, especially knowing each other and making the film just in time. And I would love to ask you guys, especially because there's so many filmmakers out there around the same age or in the same boat where a lot of stuff they can't be doing because of COVID. And I would love to know, how are you guys staying creative during this time? What are some advice that you would give other filmmakers who would like to make a film like yours, or just want to make a film in general? I would love to hear from each of you how this is affecting you and your creativity.
I guess I'll go first. So it's definitely difficult, especially when you're kind of like trapped, when you're supposed to be quarantining. So there's not a lot of like just physical movement that you can kind of get up and go places. But I think that makes us more aware of our surroundings, even if they're in our day-to-day lives. You might notice things, you're like, oh, I didn't notice how that picture hung on the wall or something. It's just little things, I think, that stick in your mind, so that maybe you don't create a whole film or a whole script or book or anything around it, but it's something that maybe could be incorporated. Just a little idea, that a little quirk that if somebody sees it, they're like, oh, I really liked how they did that, and be like, well, that was what it looked like in my house during quarantine or anything like that. So, it's just little things that you just kind of find inspiration in.
Absolutely, Kendall. I love that.
I would also say, like, there's a lot of pressure, I think, for people to be super creative, but know that, to take your time on whatever you're doing. I mean, this is my favorite film I've done, and it's mainly because Noella and Kendall helped kind of from the beginning, and we prepped it for so long, and taking your time on what you really like, and knowing that it doesn't have to be perfect, and to not put too much pressure on yourself, and to just try to be satisfied with the little things, like Kendall was saying, and also, if I really love editing, so like that's something to be done at home if you're ever bored or want to practice things technically, and then watching movies, theory, things like that. It's always fun.
Great. Awesome. And Noella, how do you feel? How are you staying creative during this time?
So I have always just loved prepping things before I even get to the point where you're ready to even start doing anything. So over the summer, I got a group of my friends from Ithaca, and I started the pre-production on hopefully like a web series that will involve the pandemic, but having little stories, little vignettes. So I kind of got like the 3 writers that I really liked at college, and then a director that I really enjoyed working with. So we're working on that right now, and I'm prepping that. And then I think right now I'm also interested in helping someone else who graduated the same year I did. He wants to also work on a different film, so I'm going to be producing his film. So I'm just trying to stay busy producing things, because you don't necessarily have to start production anytime soon. Like pre-production takes as long as you need it to take. So
wow, that's awesome, Noella. Like, I needed to hear that myself. I think a lot of people probably out there will be like, that is so true. Prep has always not been my strong point, but this is a great time to do that. And I love that you're supporting other artists and you're networking. I mean, that's what I love about Garden State Film Festival. You meet so many great people. You all met in college and still working together. I think that this is a great, just great to see you all making this film and still creating out there. And I think this is great for people to see. I'm so excited for people to see this film. We're about wrapping up in the last minute. Anything else? I mean, I know this is just any last words you guys want to say about the film, or what you're really hoping people get out of watching this, or just, filmmaking in general. Anyone else want to say any last bits?
I'll just quickly shout out the people who were like, we didn't want to invite too many people, because I know it is limited time, but there's so many people who worked on the movie who did such an amazing job and deserve all the recognition they can. Every single member of the crew and cast, they were just super wonderful and gave us their time and didn't have to, and just gave every ounce of effort, and very grateful for that. So yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Jordan. Thank you to everyone that couldn't be here, but was involved in making this film. To all of you guys, I can't say enough how much I enjoyed the film. I can't people to see this. So let me just quickly tell everyone how you can see this film, Blood is Thicker. It will be premiering virtually in the venue of Brookdale Performing Arts Center, Saturday, March 27th in the block of 7:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. So hopefully everyone can just take some time out and watch this, make something about this, and, have a fun little festival preview at home. And it's really, really cool. Great film. So congratulations to you all again. Whatever you do, please submit to Garden State, because we love to keep in touch with amazing filmmakers like yourselves.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day. Thanks for the interview.
Bye.
I was rounding a corner fast, and it just happened.
And no one saw you?
No, it was just me and the jogger.